Good, good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Is it Christina?
It's Christina. Yeah, you nailed it.
Okay, yeah, I see you got a little unique spelling there with the Z, but that's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, just to throw things into a just to keep things interesting. It's a Hungarian way to spell it.
Hungarian.
Yep.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Okay, so are you from there or family from
Yeah.
there? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
No, yeah. No, that's my first language as well. So
Ah,
there
wow.
you
All right. How do you say hello in Hungarian?
You could say hello. We do use
Oh,
that as well. So to keep things simple. Is also another common way to say is szia, which is like the informal one. If you would talk to, because we have the weird thing of, if you're talking to someone friendly, then you kind of use a different type of vocabulary as a comparison. If you are like speaking to um, police or, like officials, then
right, right.
you would say like jó napot kívánok, which means good day, essentially.
Unipac Unipac What is
Jó
it?
napot kívánok.
Unipac Oh man, I'll tell you, I have to work on that. I like to learn these things.
Hi, I'm Cindy.
Hi, Cindy. Yeah, so I mean, it's not an easy language to learn, so I don't blame you. So don't beat yourself up about it too much.
I meet with somebody from the Philippines. I've been learning a little bit about hi, how are you, kamustika and this and that, and uh,
There you go. You know more than me.
I'm working on it. It's
Love
fun to
that.
learn
Awesome.
people's cultures. Sarah's on here today. I'm not sure if her first language
Yeah.
was Spanish, but she speaks Spanish very well. So I'm not sure if she learned that first or second, but
That was my
Sarah,
first language.
that's
First
your first
language.
language.
Yay. I'm
All
learning
right.
Spanish, but I'm very slow. I don't know what better ways to kind of learn because apps are not doing it for me.
Oh, I know. Sorry. I'm not great at like having suggestions. My husband also like he'll ask me questions and I'm like, I don't know why it's this way. It just is. Like that's just how I learned it.
Yeah. It's
I know
fun
it.
though. Once you got the Spanish, right, you can go to Italian and French pretty easy, like especially Italian, but I noticed there's a lot of crossover when we went to Italy and had already learned a
Mhm.
little bit of Spanish. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
Italian and Spanish are probably the closest, aren't they?
yeah, I think so. That's just, they definitely got a lot of como sta, and they're just different things that really sound almost just a few letters apart.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, very similar. Yeah, it's fun. However, we're here to talk about some biz stuff, aren't we?
oh, I thought it was just a language class, no?
Are we learning Spanish from Sarah and
Let's
Hungarian
go.
from me?
Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, no, here's the thing. So Cindy and I are franchisors. Sarah she's a franchise owner in
Awesome.
Huntington, California. I did have another guy that would have been able to make it to yesterday's call, but he's taken off with his wife on a little trip, so he can't make it today. But I'm glad that we're recording for those guys. There's a Columbia City location that's also interested. My
Okay.
job is to consistently seek out marketing that works. I will say that Huntington Beach has had the toughest time finding that because they've been with a couple of companies. And when I saw your ad that, we'll get you 50 new members or the marketing is free, I'm like, well, I mean, I'd like to help them to make safer bets on their marketing. So that sounds like a really good guarantee. And just wanted to, basically find out what you guys were about. I only came across you on social media, so I don't have a direct referral. I mean, I'd love to hear about some of your happy customers as we move down the road, but ultimately just what y'all do. It sounded like there was even a component. Here's something I also worry about with locations. We have studios. They're 4,000 square feet. They're not big locations. There's not a big staff.
Mm-hmm.
And I have found that speed to lead at different facilities is not where I would want it to be to have the highest percentage of conversions in the lead flow process. So when I saw in your ad that you're not using bots, but that you are even perhaps helping with those leads. I wasn't quite sure but it seemed like that's what I was reading. And so, I'm interested to know how you essentially assist with that process as well, because I don't want you to just get them leads. I want them to get appointments and sales and all that, right? So, um,
Exactly. Gotta get those people in the door, because otherwise, just another marketing company that is getting leads, and then all they care about, that's the common problem I see a lot of them doing. All they care about is just the amount of leads that they can get, because it looks great on them that they can generate all of that traffic, but how that actually translates down to actual people in the door, how good those the quality of the leads, like how warmed up those people are, they don't tend to care about it. So that's where we really focus on, is kind of putting the emphasis on the quality over the quantity, not necessarily like driving a ton of leads, but making sure that the ones that are clicking, the ones that are more resonating with a specific message, therefore they tend to be better type of customers. So that's, in a nutshell, like that's our philosophy. But as you said as well, we do look after those clients as well. So we actually call them. We've got a team of people that are calling them within 2 minutes. So as soon as they come in, basically there's a person on the phone to them, asking questions, getting them booked in for their first class, and take care of essentially everything all the way to just getting those people in the door.
Okay, so I do have a couple questions. I'm sure you're probably going to give us an overview. So if I'm jumping ahead, you can just tell me, and we'll sit back
Okay.
and listen to the presentation. But it sounds like you're looking for quality over quantity, and you did say something about booking for the first class. So I did want to find out a little bit about that. But when you say quality over quantity, do you have like a marketing mix that, I mean, is it just Facebook and Instagram? Do you guys also do Google Ads? Do you do anything on any other social channels? Because I know there's different ones that are becoming, worth using. Some people are using Navigator with the LinkedIn, and some are using TikTok and all that kind of thing. So
Yeah. Yeah, so here is the thing. We like to focus on, first and foremost, Facebook and Instagram, because what we figured out with our strategy that is a relatively cheap for what the result we can produce. Google tends to take longer time, a lot more money to actually produce similar results. So we tend to focus on Facebook, Instagram first. Meta obviously takes care of both, so you can utilize the same budget for both of those platforms. Kill one, two. Was it two birds with one stone?
yeah,
Yeah.
you got it. Yeah, you got it. That's good.
In a morbid way, yes.
Uh,
So that's the reason, because like simply put, like $1,500 goes a long way with that strategy. Most people are really happy with what they're getting from just them, and then they don't need to even look at advertising on other platforms. We do, however, yes, we recommend Google still, because it's always good to kind of, we think about it as like a supplementation of the strategy. So because people are start seeing ads of our clients on Facebook, Instagram, right? Immediately they're probably going to Google like, who are these guys? Check
yeah.
out some testimonials, reviews, whatever, and their website as well. So it looks good. Of course, it pops up right on the top for certain keywords as well. So with that aspect, people maybe tend to spend like $100 to 400 roughly in a month as a supplementation if they choose to add that on.
Okay.
First and foremost, we usually go down on the meta road, and then I wouldn't even worry about like YouTube, TikTok, all of those platforms too much, because far too heavy on content from a client end. So you guys would have to be basically creating content all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's got the time for that. And
Mm-hmm.
really like return on investment also tends to be, YouTube is definitely the most expensive platform to advertise on.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the other reason we don't tend to do that. So
Okay.
instead, kind of utilizing a fairly small ad budget on a monthly basis, but make sure that's well spent.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good to know. And even as you said, supplementing with Google, just to fill you in on us, we've been a franchise for a while, but we just totally rebranded by taking on a new partner. So some locations like Huntington Beach and others are just had a grand opening, and so the website has a very chance of, you know, being a high converting lead magnet. Like in honor of our grand opening, register to win, we're giving away thousands of dollars in membership services and swag. I mean, that's a great one in itself. There's a couple others on there that are good lead magnets. Like there's a virtual body planner where you get to kind of slide the bar and watch the person get skinny and, you know, find out how you can get to those results. And it's not just like opt in for our newsletter, get a free workout like many people do.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the problem with that is if we're not driving any traffic to it, then you're not going to get any leads from your website. So I do think that a proper marketing mix for us would, you know, definitely include driving some traffic there somehow, because then, you know, we got more chance of them opting in for things. But so just filling in on that. And then you said you get on the phone, you got a team of people, and it happens within 2 minutes, and you try to get them booked for their first class. Now, is that always a strategy to have them come in for their first class? Or is it sometimes if a facility, like for instance, something that we've always done, and we call it a fast track, we have a body composition software where they will get an exact plan to reach their goals by an exact date. So we do always try to sell a fitness solution. We have no problem with them trying out a class, but we are a holistic studio. So we offer personal training, small group training, which would be the class, right? You know, one word for it. And,
Yeah.
you know, a variety of other things, you know, there's recovery, stretch and different things, life coaching. But, so is it always just that you're trying to get them to come try out a class, or like sometimes if I had like an offer for like a fast track, is that what your people could try to get them booked in for? Or?
Absolutely. It's whatever basis you want to get them on board. So the reason I said, like, most people obviously do that, just get them on a first class, and then they have a conversation usually before to have that kind of assessment, but they still come on a basis of trying something out. So they get a good flavor of what they can expect. Like for you, because you're approaching it obviously a more intentional way. You've got, as mentioned, body comps, kind of like you actually give them a solid plan. You start here, by this time you get there. Makes sense to start with that. Would definitely not change that. And go with whatever works for you sales wise in terms of the procedures, what you guys been doing. Can see Sarah as well now. Hello.
Oh, there's Sarah. Hey, it's dark in California still. She's up early with us. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, bless.
Sarah, you're on mute, but I don't know if you were saying hi or.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
Sorry,
Sorry,
I was saying that it's very dark out here still, so there's a little bit.
Yeah, we can just about to see you.
Okay.
You got that hustle and grind, getting up with us early.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did you have a question? Just your camera on. Just wasn't sure because you were muted.
No, I was driving, but I'm parked now, so
Okay,
that's
perfect.
why I had it off.
All right. So yeah, where was I? Yeah, so whatever obviously works for you at your end. So as I said, everything is individual. So we've got clients that are getting them on the first class, so we need to have their schedule, their actual class schedule when we're going to be booking people in. So for you with that, we just need those times when you can actually do that fast track appointment with the body composition and everything that you do. So as long as we know, you know, those time availability or that slots, then we can work on to fill those.
So we just share like a calendar with you, right? Could share like our office calendar or something.
We basically replicate your availability on our calendar, because we create a CRM system for all of these leads that come through. And we also nurture not just the leads that we generate from ads, but any leads that you guys getting through Google website, also all database as well. Intentionally going back, nurturing them, giving them different types of offers. And then when they give us some form of a text message back, or, you know, expressing some interest, then we know we can call them back. So then we also nurture those too. So they live in that database that you also have access to. And they basically imagine that they get funneled through this database. So only those get to you being booked into the schedule that are like ready to rock.
Okay, that's pretty cool. That I'm assuming that your calendar syncs up with our calendar in case something pops on there because we had like a walk-in or whatever appointments we make. you guys somehow stay aware of those so that we're not double booking?
Depending on the system, because some we can do. Which CRM do you use normally, you guys?
Well, actually, I mean,
Or-
we're currently operating off of a Google Calendar. We're about
Okay.
in the Sarah facility. We're a few weeks away from using Recess.
Mhm.
So we'll start to use the Recess calendar for probably everything, bookings and trainings and all that. But right now we've
Okay.
kind of had to operate off of a Google Calendar that's connected. We
Okay.
share a company link in a lot of our advertising, and it goes right to that Google Calendar when somebody books.
Mhm. In that
Uh,
case, I mean, if schedule changes, I always say just update that because you have access to that system as well. So treat that system as like giving us a heads up on your availability if it changes, because that's what the team can see. So as they
okay,
are handling with the phone conversations, if you are just updating that, then they can start filling those spots as well.
okay.
So that's how it usually works. And then same system, you also give us the feedback, what's happening to those people. Very important, because then we know how effective is the actual strategy that we put together. Are they good people? They're showing up, they're converting, like what's happening to them? Because then we also look at optimizing the plan moving forward. If it works, great. If it starts dropping down, we want it to be ahead of a curve and like remedy stuff before it goes really bad, because
Okay.
it's a never set it forget it situation. This because you've been working with other marketing companies probably as well, which I see that happens a lot. They're running the same ads and they after a while they stop working, and they're not really working on it, like figuring out why it's not working anymore. So that system acts as a feedback, but also for you guys to keep track of all of those people, um, and for us as well to keep track of everything.
Huntington Beach, Sarah's location, they use MindBody software. So if you
Okay.
guys, I mean, if they somehow plugged in their office calendar availability into MindBody, you guys could probably work with that, or is that?
Or a few select of our lovely franchises, I think we can definitely add you on the list as well. I think I can speak for Dave in this case. If we were to do obviously multiple locations too, we actually book people in directly to MindBody for our clients. So with that, even simpler, because then we just get access to that. We can get all of those sorted, and then it's less kind of manual work for your end as a result.
I love what you were saying. We're all about consistently updating our creative, doing what we can on our end. I always encourage our locations after we look at our metrics, if there's something, happening with the leads, to hop on with a marketing company, look at the analytics and say, all right, what can we do? Because if the analytics aren't making sense, there's either something we can do on our end, something you can do on your end, or it's just not working, right? Um, so then, uh, one of those things that makes you unique is obviously the fact that you're willing to follow up with the leads right away for us. I've worked with a company to where they had AI do that, but I haven't worked with a company yet that just had people do that. I think that's great because I would say more times than not, I do believe that our locations have a problem with speed to lead and that they would get more appointments if they could follow up faster.
Mm-hmm.
Um, And so what else makes Pancham, how do I say it? Let me make sure I'm saying your company's name
Yeah, you
right.
got it.
All right,
Pancham.
all right.
Is Dave's last name. He's Indian descent, but he lived in New York for a long time and then moved into LA, and then they're moving to Vegas now, so a whole different
Oh,
story.
Well,
Uh,
we're going to all the good places.
yeah, we used to live in Vegas. Yeah,
Yeah, we met in Vegas. Yep.
we did.
Mhm.
Yeah, she was
well,
an impersonator and I was a stripper.
you're Magic Mike.
That's what people think of when they think of Vegas, right? Elvis people and the strippers and things like that, whatever.
Yeah.
So, no, we were none of those things. But
Oh.
right.
Yeah, it
The
would've been
story
more
just got
exciting.
less interesting, right? But
Yeah.
yeah. So what else makes the company unique that you feel that separates you from the other marketing companies?
Yeah, good question. I mean, I kind of covered pretty much a lot of it actually in terms of us being the only marketing agency I know of that actually takes the time and an effort to actually have a team of people that follows up with those leads. So not only so quickly, but actual human beings, because AI is not really there yet. Maybe it will be in the future, but it can't really build real connection relationships just yet. The other side is what we came out, it hasn't always been the case, but again, reacting to our mistakes and also just looking at what makes more sense to create in the marketplace. We also started taking the time and the effort to do a full market research before we would work out what kind of actual intro offer would make sense to start the whole campaign with. Like, what would be really the foundation for the strategy itself? Because we do have the proven methods and ways to do it, and because we've done it for different franchises, but also small, very much boutique style individual type of businesses, and it works for everyone because it's always tailored down to the individual and their market, because then we look at their actual market first, do a full market research, and then come up with offers and the strategy moving forward. We also look at other competitors in the area, what ads they are running, what kind of intro offers they are running, because that will also make or break, or maybe we need to pivot in slightly different directions within the proven strategy if there is a lot of competition in the area, as an example. So you are not losing maybe people to those guys. So making sure that we want something that we put out there is also competitive enough in the market conditions. That's why it needs to change. So every now and again, maybe the content needs to change, maybe the offer needs to change. So we're always looking at it as in like a really active partnership that we want the client to be involved as well. But essentially, it's kind of a 90% our end to do the work, figure out to 10% to the client. So unique in a sense of, I don't really know any other examples that take care of everything all the way to actually getting people in the door for you, that is concentrating on the quality of the leads, not the quantity, and not just like trying to look really good because we generated like 200, 300 leads in a month, and then looking at like maybe 5 of them turned up, So, yeah.
Really good, because Huntington Beach would be a great example of a competitive market, and
Yeah.
they've pretty much, the first company that they were with, they had the standard 6-week challenge that worked good in a lot of areas. We definitely weren't happy with their creative, and unfortunately, we weren't happy with the results either.
Was it
So
Gymlog?
it was similar to Gym Launch. It's called GGE, but they were originally students of Gym Launch. They had partnered with Alex Hermosi at one time, and so then they kind of followed the methodology. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, I just don't think it was enough of a standout in the Huntington Beach area. So it's good to hear that you guys really look to say, well, look at all the marketing that's going on in this area, and how can we be competitive in that? Because I think that's something for sure that they're looking for. And tell me about that 50-member guarantee that you guys are putting out there. What's that mean? How's that work?
So it is indeed available. However, my job is always go through individual circumstances, making sure that I'm actually signing up somebody we can 100% help. And then I go through sales, retention strategies, whatever they do. So making sure that they are actually as much as an ideal client for us to work with, as well as us for them. Because based on a bunch of questions I usually go through, I can get a good understanding whether it's going to be mutually a win-win situation. And I do not want to sign up everyone. We are really intentional about this as well. So I'm not signing up everyone with the credit card and the pulse. So,
Good.
and because of that process, that's why we are like, you know what, we can actually offer this, because I can predict whether it's going to be successful based on those parameters. And it basically means, so if in the first 3 months we're not generating at least 50 new members for a client, then we carry on working for free for an additional full month even, until at the very least the client gets 50. And then basically cover everything, so cover all the costs for that time. Obviously, we don't want to work for free.
Right?
Right.
We want.
Right.
We want a client to succeed and not just get 50 in the first 3 months, but get so much more. So that's why I need to go through a bunch of questions, making sure the sales is on point, or if we need to help them, as an example, with sales, because maybe that's lacking in the process. We do help our clients with that too, by the way. But then I know I need to set more realistic expectations that it might not happen. So be prepared for that. Just pure based on some past data, what they can provide for me, so I can give more of kind of like an accurate potential image of how the future is going to look like in 3 months. So I want to be like very realistic and very real if they are struggling with sales, as an example, because we had that in the past. So I'm like very cautious. So I want to help everyone and as best as possible, but I also want to make sure that they are prepared to do the work if they are required to do more at their end due to maybe lack of sales strategies or lack of retention, and everything is so bad because we can put the people in the door, but at the end of the day, if they're not closing, not keeping them, then it's still not really going to be very beneficial for them revenue wise. And I want everybody to win. So the bottom line here is really just to make sure that they're following the plan, and they're ready to do the work if they need to, improve on those areas as well.
Yeah. Well, obviously, as a franchise, we already have some established systems, which is usually better than, your typical, location that hasn't thought it through yet, So we do have that going for us. That being said, we're always open to getting better. So if you say, oh, geez, if you make this little tweak, then, we'll make
Good.
it.
That's what I
work. Question. All right. So what is the typical spend for, working with your company? How does it break down, ad spend versus, what it costs to, secure your services on a monthly basis?
Yeah. So, I suppose I should go through a plan, like a theoretical plan, what we would be able to do, and you can make a decision on that, and then I can show you all the things that we do, and then the payment options for that as well. If it's a multi-location situation, or it's going to be maybe a long-term partnership moving down the road with multiple, like many more owners, we definitely would able to come up with a bespoke pricing as well. So just side note, because we've done that before in the past. So that's something that usually goes to Dave at that stage. So if we get there, just side note that it's potentially going to be even more beneficial financially.
Okay, terrific. Awesome. Thank you.
All right, so let me share my screen. So of course, normally I go through a bunch of questions with everyone to make sure that I can kind of put like a rough plan together. My role is to really figure out would it be a mutual good fit, and then how would essentially the plan look like, and then the client success manager that gets assigned to the client will then do the market research and actually put everything together in a sense that actually tailored to them specifically. So for now, oh, why is this not sharing? Come on.
So then, for those type of calls, is there a link that we'll get in an email today? Like, let's say Sarah wants to hop on with you and essentially answer all the questions. Is there a link that you could share at the end of the call where she could, have a separate call to go through those questions and make sure that they're a good fit for your plan, or?
Yeah. So we can definitely just schedule for my calendar, and then we can have a chat and go into detail of what's specifically going on with that location, where need the most help with. Because we help our clients with sales, with retention. We're looking at optimization on a website, Google My Business page, Google Ads later down the line, everything. So first and foremost, where are maybe the lacking areas where we need to focus on at the very beginning, and then later down the line, then we can alter the plan. So yeah, we'll just get a time together and get that booked on my calendar. So you're gonna be far ahead because you're gonna kind of see the plan as a whole. And as I said, everything is custom down to then specific needs. So then we can dive deeper into where it needs more attention. But essentially, the principle is to, free up the time, increasing the bottom line for our clients. So as I mentioned, it's 90% the stuff that we do, and then you only basically need to focus on sales, retention, take good care of your clients, and then everything else is basically going to be falling down to us, getting those people in the door for you. So our launch time is 7 to 10 days. So this is the beginning stage, and you had a little of a chat with Lucas as well. So basically this is the beginning stage. So first thing when you are signing up is a market research part, which we do before you can hop on the onboarding call. So by the time you get to that stage, then the majority of the strategy will be formed, so you can be really productive and get the ducks in a row for the ads, because we need to create custom content, and basically aiming to get everything ready and done within that 7 to 10 day mark, so we can actually launch and start getting those bookings in. Don't know how much you know about us, by the way, because I sound like you might have done a little research.
A little bit, but I'd love to know more. So good.
Okay, so this is Dave, who I was talking about. Has been all around the place and just moving to Vegas soon. So he's Dave Pancham, owner and CEO of the business. And we essentially have been working where he's started it almost 6 years ago now. So work with over 400 different gyms, studios, large franchises, small businesses, basically everything between group fitness to PT to even recovery, everything in between. So what similar types of boutique gyms as well, what you are offering, as well as like yoga studios, kickboxing, boxing franchises, like literally everything. We've got tons of testimonials on the website, so you can actually meet some of those guys as video testimonials there. But as I said, like the reason we're able to really help everyone within the fitness niche is our very specific custom type of approach, and then always looking at strategizing and moving forward, figuring out, be really proactive on what we need to do to keep up the good performance as well. Or if something goes bad, really be there really quickly to remedy it, and then get great results in the long run. That's why we created the market analysis program, the market research part, as I mentioned. So I'll go into that in a bit of a detail in a second, to really support us with a lot of data going into it. So we're not just kind of guessing and hoping for the best, but actually taking the time, taking the effort to, lay this on solid ground. We also gym owners too. The other owner and not CEO, co-founder, co-owner, I think co-owner, that's the official title, is called Gil, who's not on this picture, lives in Florida and owns a ton of gyms over there. So having his industry inside view is amazing, really helped us to further tailor our services, what we really need to focus on for our clients even more. And the two other superpowers I already mentioned, and people raving about, is especially the booking concierge team. When it's not just you, most franchises, anyone is this part of the sales process is the one is always lacking the most. How quickly you can reach out to those people, what's the actually road you take, it's usually the one is always lacking. So important part, reaching back out to them in 2 minutes, and then basically just take that all off your plate completely. And then dedicated marketing consultant and success coach, the CSM, who's doing all of this work, but then also help with sales, retention strategies, scripts, organic social media, you name it. You can go for any kind of advice, even beyond of the scope of things that we do. They're there to help everyone to succeed. So you only need to ask for any additional advice. You've got unlimited support. And then we've got a ton of testimonials here, but as I said, a lot on the website. So I usually just mention a few because depending on where they are in terms of sales, then kind of can have a good idea what it's expected, like what percentage they're able to close, on a monthly basis. So determining how quickly it can actually grow. So, some goes hard because their sales is so good. And like Brooklyn and Joseph, in the first month, they converted 45 new members. It's not typical by any means. Not everybody got their ducks in a row like that. So some is, they are award winning as well now. So they've been really, really growing so quick since we've been working together. Maggie opens two more locations since we've been working together. In a single month, she signed 50 actual members as a result. Way too many, 500 members in a single gym. So it's, again, plan also depends on individual circumstances, because some obviously can't even take care of 700 members like Melanie. Some maybe will total out like 150 members, 200, whatever their goals are. Then we can alter the plan, change it, pause it. We have clients that had to pause after, gonna look for them here, Brian, paused after 5 months because he failed all of his classes. So he was just like, sorry guys, I cannot take any more, just need to put a stop to it. He actually got crazy amount of leads, very high quality at very low cost. Again, not typical, but we love when that happens. And then, yeah, in 5 months, he was like, this is it, I'm full. So good problems to have. This is the kind of problems I want everyone to have. That's really happy. So yeah, tons more on the website. So essentially the same principle applies. So we adapted these 4 secrets or 4 steps for all of these guys that I showed you. Everyone is getting the same one-on-one treatment, but everyone has to have that individual approach, because none of you guys exactly the same. Even if it's the same franchise, the market will be absolutely completely different. So need to look at who we're going to be targeting, what kind of content, and actually taking, again, the time and an effort to create that content, which we're going to be editing, sorting out. You just need to record. That's it. So we'll go through each steps in more detail. And I promise it will all make sense. So demographic data from Census Bureau, other data pools. So we use a bunch of software for this, so we can pull all this data that's available, like ages, income levels, the zip codes, where they're located, where the best areas to target, and maybe eliminate areas that are like lower income, not make sense to target it for a gym who sells like $600 packages, as an example. So looking at who we are working with, and then looking at the competitors as well, if they are advertising at all online, what kind of intro offers they have, then we can then look at what intro offer would make sense for our client, and then come up with ad spend recommendations as well, based on the goals that we're looking at and also the area for the market. So on average, I said people tend to spend $1,500 a month. Usually that sets them off on a good path. They don't really need to spend too much more. Some choose to go higher if they can actually handle the volume. With our 50 member guarantee, we have a $50 a day ad budget as a must. to make sure that we actually be able to provide you with enough leads to get the best chance to, you know, close at least 50 new members. So again, based on, depending on like how good the sales is, you're probably going to get there sooner. If they are really struggling, they not only need to really work on sales, but also maybe require to spend a little bit more so they can get more opportunities to basically practice on, but hopefully obviously close. So they actually get the volume. Any questions? Make sense?
Makes money to make money. I get it. You got to spend enough to get enough. So makes sense. Yeah.
Exactly. And you know, $1,500, not a crazy one at all. I don't know how much we've been spending. Sarah's been spending on a monthly basis.
They've had a variety. They started out at thousands. Maybe now they're down to 1,000. In our location, we're about 1,000 a month. We're in a very rural
Ours is
community.
15.
I think it's 500 for what we pay for their services, and it's 1,000 for the ad spend. But yeah,
Oh.
but either way, you know, I mean, our area is more rural. Huntington Beach is a competitive market with a good sized population there. So, you know, I get it.
Yeah, they would probably require to spend more. Just looking at if they want to get the results, of course, but maybe rural locations not really needing as much. But then, yeah, competition as well. So it depends on quite a few things. So I mean, that's why we look at all of these areas, so then we can come up with a game plan. And at the end of the day, it has to make sense financially in terms of the investment, like how much you are spending to what's the return on that. So we always crunch the numbers on that as well, like your average spend per month, your average retention data, so we can kind of draw a bottom line. What would be your worst case scenario, how much money you would be making, and then it can only be better than that, because you know that's kind of a baseline.
Let me ask you this question. All right, so let's just say that we're a location that's spending $50 a day, you know, going after that 50 members, you know, 50 new members in 90 days. And let's just say that like the, you know, first week or whatever it was, you know, maybe first couple weeks, you know, we're like really seeing minimal amounts of leads. Do we hop on with our success coach there and go over analytics and figure out what the heck is going on? Or like, you know, what's your guys' answer for when, you know, you got people in the right spend, but they're not getting the right amount of leads?
Absolutely. And it did happen in the past as well. In fact, I can remember a client who just recently left us a testimonial. We've been working with them since September, I think. And their first month was very slow. And on a bi-weekly basis, you guys jump on with the client success manager at the very least anyway. So that's a time to strategize, look at the results. So that always happens. So I'd say to everyone, make sure that you actually take the time to hop on those calls. But yeah, for them, as an example, first month, super slow. Second and third month was their best month, two of the best months they have ever had sales-wise. And they had the best December they've ever had again, in a time that is usually not the time where people tend to spend money on fitness. So that's why we have a 3-month program to start with. And then that's where we have the $50 a day attaching to the guarantee, to making sure that you are available to spend that much within the first 3 months to really support this goal. And then afterwards is very flexible. So may as well drop down to $1,000 if it makes sense and still brings in good enough numbers. Whatever the best kind of way moving forward. Again, as I said, on a bi-weekly basis, there's an ongoing strategizing going on. So we can always look at what's going on.
Yeah. I just figured that would be people's question. Like if I start spending $50 a day and it's not working, what happens next? You know, so okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
exactly. So yeah, if the thing is, if it's like absolutely dead, not a single person coming in, then we need to do something real quick to remedy that and not waiting for months to like hoping for the best. This is why I meant like not just leaving and setting and forget it, whatever happens, in terms of, you know, ads and intro offers. If whatever reason the market is not responding to it, as I said, it's realistic, it's happened in the past, then we need to go and remedy that and look for solutions. That's why the CSM does the monitoring every single day on the ad. So looking at the accounts, see what's going on, and also gathering the feedback from your end as well. Because it's not just the leads that you get, but how many of them converting? Are they showing up? Are they canceling? You know, what's happening to those? Because that also gives us a lot of insight on the quality of these leads.
Okay, cool.
Make sense?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So that's really the first step. And it's actually a client of ours who pointed this out. As I said, we're not perfect by any means, but our commitment is to always be on it and never let it to die. Be really proactive on solving issues. And that's what we did, because Brandon was getting leads that were just passing through the airport. He's basically really close to, his gym is close to an airport. So huge problem, right? Because those leads were just never going to be converting. They were like out of state, like from totally different side of the US. And then obviously that's ended up in wasting some precious ad dollars. So hence we needed to come up with map to remedy that, but also making sure that you get even more qualified leads in the door as a result. So we've got Brendan to thank for. It's usually it's like 50-page report, so it's the first few pages of that. So this really just a foundation for what the CSM will recommend you. So I always say for clients to be open for intro offers. How are we going to be phrasing it? How are we going to be basically putting in front of people? Because we've got a team of marketing experts, really how to phrase stuff in a way that actually attracts people. And I'm not saying that we want to, you know, what's the right word here? Because I know the gym launch doing the 6-week challenge free, but it's really kind of a bait and switch.
Right.
And want to set like really realistic expectations, be real, but obviously use a good marketing terminology that helps to sell the experience. So all of that obviously gets figured out for you.
It's a great looking report here. Is this something that you give to your clients to show them, you know, what they're working with or whatever after you do your analysis?
Yeah, exactly. So you get, it's like going to be, I think it's about 15 pages altogether. So this is the stage in between. So once they sign up, but before you guys meet with your CSM, they do all of this work. So when you're actually hopping onto the onboarding call, you're going to be discussing this. So you get that, but also then setting up everything on Meta, you know, figuring out everything around the CRM system, how we're going to be booking those leads and all of those things. So by this is get done in before you can be really, really productive on that first meeting that you're going to have. Awesome. So then we can actually look at content and ads, because it has to follow a pre-instruction format, as in know what works, and a emotionally compelling copy that is very much results based and not selling like features and stuff. We want to provide something that, you know, people actually resonate with, looking at their pain points, looking at what goals they have, how to marry the two together, really to push buttons on some pain points to get something that's emotionally compelling. But then also, as I said, very importantly, daily optimization, looking at their performance every single day. And if it needs changing, then CSM give you the heads up, look, are you cool with changing offer, content, whatever that comes to it? And, you know, making sure that the performance stays at a good level or improves if it's bad. So that's the whole point here. So we're looking to create something that is personalized and with actual human beings again, because we know that helps and actually creates a connection. So I hope that either Sarah or business owners will be up for this, or any of their trainers or whoever will be able to create some content. But again, we write the script, We give you all the guidance, exactly how to record. Even if you haven't done it in your life before, you'll still be able to do it. Take out all the guesswork for you. You just need to provide the content. We'd edit it, we'll put it all together for you. So you just need to look at the final result, approve it before it goes live.
Yep, we do stuff like this, so that's good.
Awesome, perfect. So that's definitely going to be required because we want to create many different variations of the offer. If it's especially maybe you want to hit different markets with the same thing, maybe they've got completely different pain points. Also split testing images, different types of videos. So there is no limitations on how many different copies can you have, as many as it really makes sense, to put out there. The more specific it is, and that's the key, is not to be generic, because that's what I see a lot also, not really making it specific to the market that we are looking to reach out to. The more specific it gets, the better quality it can really produce. So this is non-negotiable. We really want to do it this way.
Mhm.
Any questions?
No, looks good. Looks good.
Awesome. Then now we can move on to the booking concierge team, the fun part, because you mentioned this, that many of the locations are struggling with the timing, like actually reaching out to those people, and maybe it's not fast enough. And as I said, like it's a problem across everyone. If unless you have a dedicated staff that just literally does that, but nobody really has the capacity to have dedicated staff. But with this, you basically get 2, 3 at the very least to start with, staff members that basically going to be plugged into your branding. So it's so customized that when they pick up the phone, introducing themselves as, whichever location that they are assigned to. And we gather all that information from the client. So we know frequently asked questions. Of course, we know the schedule. Whatever information we need to know in order to answer frequently asked questions. And then their purpose is to get those people booked in, as I said, either for their first class, a consultation, whichever basis the client decides. And yeah, they not only do this within 2 minutes, 7 days a week, 18 hours a day, but we also set them up with a local phone number to the client. So they actually authentically look like they actually work for you. And as I said, there's no chatbots, it's only human beings. So the only automations we do is all the call reminders, like similarly that you guys been getting our emails, text messages. They can be set up with all of those as well. And of course, we would do that. All of the reminders coming up to their appointment. But we want them to be on the phone because, that personal connection is really important. They have a great experience throughout. They're seeing really good content on the ads, engaged there, engaged here. So by the time you get them in the door, they will be great clients. That's the idea here. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. No, that's good. Go. I was just going to ask.
Yeah.
We have a thing called monster follow-up, right? Like immediately, we're trying to call them even a couple times a day, and trying to text them a couple times a day, and kind of email them a couple times a day. And we have found that when we call some people, they like I've actually even received a recording. I suffer from social anxiety. Please text me, right? Like, do you guys also text?
Oh yeah.
Okay, right? Because I'm like, that's crazy. They don't. They would, but like I've never heard that recording before, but it's real, So.
It is. And yeah, some people just prefer not to speak with some random weirdos on the phone, I guess. So
Right.
that's fine. Yeah, they still text. I do have an example here coming up as well, in terms of text. But yeah, they call them different times in the day at different times in different days. So really like looking for different timings, trying to get them, because I did obviously want to get them on the phone. If the text back I can't speak, text back to us, then we can just follow up on a text message if that's what they prefer. And then, of
Yeah.
course, they still send out emails as well. But yeah, the whole point here is to get 50 to 80% of these leads that we generate booked in. Historically speaking, databases, like all database reactivations, so looking after everyone in the old databases usually results about 2 to 5% comes back in the door. So again, they take care of that for you. Also reschedules, cancellations, no-shows, again, fall back to them. So the client takes over from the time they actually show up in the door. So once that happens, business as usual from your end. You just do you. If, as I said, if they don't show up, just mark them on the system, mark them on the confirmation email that we send out that that person didn't show up. So that signals to the team that they need to be chased up.
Tell me more about that. A database, like you're saying that you guys would run reactivation campaigns for us?
Yeah. Always,
oh,
always.
oh, okay, there it is. All right. Cindy, she's the brains of this operation.
I wish.
No,
Of course, of course.
2 to 5%, that's a great number, because some of our facilities have been around for a decade and they have thousands of people that have
Right.
went through, you know.
Yeah.
Some have been around.
Yeah. So we definitely want to tap back into those because, I mean, if they have not opted out from communication, if they text back to us like, I moved away, not relevant, whatever, then fine, we can narrow it down. But it's usually so many good opportunities lying on old databases that simply nobody has time to follow up with. So
Exactly. Like I think that we've done reactivation campaigns, but I think they're a little weak. You know, haven't seen the kind of conversion rates you talk about, but it probably just has to do with various types of efforts across the board, and even something else you just mentioned, that your people that are calling our leads are doing it at the times that they feel they're going to be best to get a hold of people. Our locations are calling our leads when they finally get a free minute, you know, and that's just a different timing, right? You know, so that.
yeah, and I mean that's the best they can do, and you
Oh,
know
of course,
you
yeah,
can only do
yeah,
so much.
yeah, exactly. It's like, but it's still like, geez, I'm gonna call him right now because I got a break at 10 a.m., you know, or whatever it is. But I
Right.
mean, other people will need to be called at lunchtime or dinner time or whatever, and then our folks are back on the floor at dinner time or whatever. So, you know,
Yeah, exactly. So it's a challenge for those. So that's why, I mean, we so like data focused and driven on these as well, that we've been looking at historically, like when are the best times in like certain areas for people that they typically pick up the phone, and then alter our routines or the team's routines to those times. So they reach out to more on those times. As that's why we, you know, different days and different times, we try out many different variations, and then trying to find, you know, the winning combination, and just keep calling them and try to get them in. That's the whole point.
great. That's awesome.
And yeah, text, because actually I remember there's gonna be an example here, because we get like a lot of those that maybe nervous, intimidated, brand new to fitness. They're kind of like freaking out. What did I click on? Jesus, what do I do? You know, and if they don't pick up the phone, if they need to be reassured and just have a nice word with them, you know, over text message, I mean, the team takes the time. It's their full-time job, so they're gonna be on there. That's why they've got the capacity to reach out within 2 minutes, and you know, give their encouraging word, get them booked via text, whatever is needed. And you know, as a result, we also get a ton of really nice text messages back, appreciating the quick response on its own, or you know, accommodating last minute changes, or just checking in with them every now and again, especially if they just kind of disappear off the face of the earth, like, you know, what happened, and expressing concerns, things like that, or you know, whatever comes to it. So that's their job, chasing them down, whatever means necessary. So again, everyone on your side, on the team, that they can just focus on sales, providing great service, you know, retention, just what you do best. So last piece of the puzzle is client success manager and coach. already raved about them. It's an essential part to show up to the bi-weekly calls. Non-negotiable. If I know for a fact we needed to chase clients down, and then I do not understand why, because they paid to do the service for us and then they disappear. And I'm like, what is going on? We cannot help you if you're not showing up. So bi-weekly, we do strategy. Unlimited support, as I mentioned, because we do help our clients with everything else we don't physically do for them. So all they need to do is ask. And as I mentioned, their role here is to monitor the accounts, be very proactive on solving issues as they come up. We have a dedicated team that just deals with like technical problems between systems, things like that. And then CSM is all about strategy, the marketing, knowing the market and knowing what's working in the market.
Perfect.
Make sense? Any questions?
Oh, that's great.
So that's pretty much the plan. So usually 7 to 10 day launch time, as I mentioned, that includes the map, the market research, a meeting with the CSM, then leaving the clients with some time to produce content that we need, and then us to then edit it, put it all together, and then we can launch and start bringing in new lovely clients. Any questions?
Not really. You know, I'll say this, you know, I hop on calls sometimes and, you know, they're shorter calls because I can tell I must have got the wrong company, but, you know, I feel really good about everything you've shown us. You know, it seems like you guys are really having a good quality approach. I guess you were going to, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Hope I didn't take too long.
No, it's great. It's great to spend extra time when there's, you know, this kind of value to understand, you know.
Sarah unmuted.
Oh, Sarah unmuted. Over to you, Sarah.
Go on, Sarah.
Am I muted? Oh, no. I was just listening. Sorry.
You
Do
liking
you
what you
have any questions?
like?
I don't have any questions. Yeah, I feel like you answered a lot of them and you were very thorough with everything. So that was very helpful.
Awesome.
You were going to show us maybe a variety of pricing, or, you know, I don't know if that's something that Dave was going to go over or whatever.
Yeah,
You know.
that's the last piece of the puzzle really to go through. So before I do that, always want to like kind of double check. It's basically our client's commitment to us to make sure they're cool with it. This is just to really double check on the information I already kind of given throughout the conversation, and making sure that they do the confirmation calls. Majority of the clients already do that. You know, once they booked in the day before, just giving those people a call that are supposed to be coming in the next day to engage with them, ask any additional questions they might need answer to, things like that. And then having enough availability is very important. So if you obviously choose to have the team on, the booking concierge team on, to make sure that you make the most out of it, we need at least 20 slots available per week. So we have enough opportunities to fill up for you, especially if we are going with the 50-member guarantee as well.
Okay.
Okay.
We can do.
Alrighty, so give you the full rundown of everything we do and basically the total value that you get for a 3-month service. So this is ads, booking concierge team, market analysis one time, database reactivation, booking calendars, phone numbers, review management. We also gathering reviews, 5-star reviews on to Facebook to be posted, for Google as well. So building up those review base too. So all in all, the value is about 12 grand for 3 months. Now, our normal pricing is there is no onboarding fee. So we've got 2,197 a month option for the first 3 months. That goes down to 1,697 a month. As many months as you are after or want to be with us. Or the first 3 months can be also done in a paid in full option that saves 10%. So basically saving $600 and then goes down to 1,697 again after month 3. Everything I showed you is all included in there except the ad spend. So then $50 a day would be advisable, especially if you're going with the guarantee. So I'd say budget in $1,500 a month for that. Again, for the first 3 months, and then that can always change.
So, I mean, it could be roughly 3,500 a month when you're paying $50 a day ad spend and paying roughly $2,000 for the monthly service. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. As I said, if we're looking potentially for like a longer term partnership and potentially with a lot of different locations as well, I can definitely go to Dave and then work out a special franchise offer that is gonna be even more inviting than these numbers.
Yeah, I mean, just a little background for when you go to Dave. So we previously had a franchise. We just launched this new one, which, caused us to rebrand some locations in May of 2024. So right now, there's locations in California, Indiana, New Hampshire, New York, and Pennsylvania. We have a goal to open up 25 more this year. Probably important for him to know that our partner industry leader, Todd Durkin. So Todd Durkin's got a lot of influence in the fitness industry, speaking at all the major conferences, been on TV, trainer to Drew Brees, Jordan Love, a lot of different NFL superstars and stuff like that. So Todd gets a lot of influence. In fact, some brands choose to use him to market their brand. Even marketing companies have used him to market their marketing company, um, so yeah, we are looking for something that we haven't quite yet found, which would be, somebody that we can consistently use for all these grand openings to, be our top recommendation for our new franchise owners, So, would love to explore, what is the best deal that we can get so that we can grow together, so that we can use you guys not only for current locations, but also for the ones that will open in the future. We always try to set a goal to get 150 pre-sale people, customers for our locations. So, we
That's
eventually want
great.
to work with it. Yeah, that's, so then because these are studios, so our goal is to try to get their, revenue matching their expenses, right? And we do have a strong
Absolutely.
B2B, strong B2B, strong website strategy, but the social media is obviously, where it's at. If you guys can do things to help drive traffic to these websites and social ads and, getting people in the door, that, so we'd love to hear more about how you could help us with grand openings and our current locations. It was great to hear that you have worked with recovery brands, because as you look at impactxperformance.com, you'll see that we got recovery, we have personal training, we got group training, there's even life coaching and optimization that we're putting in with like blood work. So, we have some huge differentiators. We feel like we're kind of where fitness is going, to that more holistic model, and we want to work with somebody that can, when our locations set goals in each category, whether it be small group training or recovery services or stretch services, it'd be great to work with a company that can customize ads to help them fill up all those revenue streams, So, so those are our interests. And yeah, I mean, if you want to take it to him, I like what I've seen so far, and I'd love to establish some sort of relationship that, would have a bright future, long-term working relationship together, and, bring you multiple locations, So, let me know.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm very confident that we can help at least, I'm sure, majority of the locations. In terms of if they, as I said, if they are not really struggling with sales, that would be my only concern. If they need a lot of help and if they are willing to, improve, then we can, of course, we can work with them. But that's usually my only concern. If somebody's really struggling on that department, if they're fine, it's definitely going to work, because then our commitment is to figure out what works and keep going and keep adapting. Launching, same thing, is how we're going to be nailing that market and actually start getting those people in before the doors opening it's 150, whether it's 150 or 200 new, sign up. So
One point as
yeah,
we wrap up, obviously people will look and they'll say, geez, it could be a big investment, $3,500 a month, but then we think about your 50 member guarantee, and those members alone could be worth a couple $1,000s over the next year. So that could be, $100,000 in new revenue for a little over $10,000 investment. So that's a good return. That's a 10x return that you could be bringing to locations. Again, if they're doing everything you said and they're not at that 50 members, what is that guarantee again?
Yeah, so we add a 4 month of total free service, or until actually gonna get 50 members. So I don't really want to ideally do that. So that's why we really want to create a solid plan for the first 3 months that not only gets the minimum of 50, but obviously exceeds that.
Yeah.
And
I'm just like everybody that's going to listen to this call later, to be reminded that if you make that investment, you guys are essentially guaranteeing that, you're going to be able to produce that result if they're doing what, you're asking them to do and whatnot. Okay.
I can predict whether they're going to be successful or not, because as I said, if sales is bad and retention is horrible, then they're going to struggle. I've
Mhm.
seen that happening. So the whole point here is to help them in terms of getting a lot of off their plate, right? So we can deal with everything. They can focus on sales and get better at that. Retention, get better at that too. Those the only times we really struggled to provide at least 50 members. And then some cases where the market was just terrible, it's literally not even making sense to run ads for that specific client that at that stage. But that very rarely happens. Usually it's not unresponsive completely. So usually what people tend to slid on is sales, to be very frank and honest with you. So that's my only concern when I'm talking to someone if they are struggling with that.
Well, I will say this, as far as sales goals, I mean, we have high conversion rates once an appointment's sitting in front of us, and it's because we have a proprietary sales tool that gives them an exact plan to reach their goals by an exact date. And people love to buy a fitness solution. They don't like to necessarily buy your kettlebells or your classes, but they like to buy a fitness solution. So that works well. The thing that I've seen is I've seen people get lots of leads, not a lot of appointments, and I believe it's speed to lead and follow up that's hurting some locations. And so that part, I love what you're doing. Like I think you guys recognize that too. And they said if we're going to get people customers, we got to have a component that helps them get the appointment. So that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Next steps, you talk to him, then we follow back up with maybe potentially whatever we could work out. And I would talk with Cindy. I mean, it's something that we always like to pilot things in our location as well, so that we're speaking from a place of experience, saying, "Oh, geez, it's working really well for us," and maybe you got to hop on with your consultant or whatever, if there is any issues. But yeah, I mean, would that be our next steps? You talk to him, and then we have an.
Okay. Absolutely, because then just remind me like what would be potentially looking at, because you mentioned that want to open 25 more locations this year, right? That's the goal. So far, who we would be supporting potentially, like how many locations we're looking at?
So we do have so there's 8 total right now, so and again, we just announced our franchise in May, May of 2024. So we're at 8 locations. One of those is in the process of getting, set up. So that would be our first opportunity for grand opening. And
Nice.
then it's 25 in 2025. We picked that number. Pretty confident in where we're at with that. And then of course, you can look at the trajectory of the others, burn boot camps or whatnot. That number has a tendency to about 2.5 times each year after that. So that's how they go from 25 or 30 locations to a couple 300 in just a couple of years. So that's where we're at. That's our long-term vision.
Okay. Yeah, I like slow and steady. relatively slow. Like if it would have been like a case of we need to take on like 100 clients next month, I'd say no way, because everybody, because so attention heavy, we cannot work with a ton of clients all at once. But as you are like, it's going to be kind of a, not saying like a drip, but essentially it's not like a lot of people all at once. So I'm confident that it's absolutely going to be fine. And yeah, definitely want to ask him to maybe sweeten the deal to get like a bit of a special pricing for you guys as well.
Thank you. Thank you. That's great. Yeah. Yeah, that's our approach too. You know, that's why we only want 25 this year, is because, you know, we want to grow the infrastructure that continues the quality support we currently have as a franchise. And that way, you know, we can grow exponentially with that kind of thing. So that's good.
Hell yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Anything from you, Cindy?
Nope.
Any questions?
Sarah?
You'll be very quiet. Say again?
Sarah's in the dark. She's in a dark room.
She's in the witness protection.
She was asking Sarah if she had any questions, but Sarah may be busy with some
Yeah.
other things right now.
Yeah.
Oh, there
I
she is.
don't. Sorry. I had to work out at 7, so I'm working out and I'm listening at the same time.
Get it. Get your
Oh my
fitness
God,
in.
good
There you
girl.
go. All right.
I'm trying.
Love,
I'm trying hard.
love the
That's all.
commitment.
All right. No
Funny.
problem.
All right.
Sarah, do we need to chat then? We need to book a time together.
Sarah, did you want to book a time with Christina?
Sure. Are you booking another time?
I will be, yeah. She's going to be getting back to us too with some numbers, but you know, we'll definitely
Okay.
be.
I don't have
Well, do
your
you wanna?
details. I don't think. I think I just got Travis's.
Okay.
Oh, is that what you
Yeah.
said? You're
Well, we can book something, and then I'll have Andrew go over like these notes if you have them, Travis, to kind of discuss.
yeah, I'll
He'd be
send
the
that out.
deciding factor of this. Him and Amanda.
I
Yeah,
will.
I'll
I will definitely. And Travis, if you can send me maybe Sarah's details, so then I put her in the system, and then I can reach out to her. Then we can book in a time, and then I'll go and chat with Dave about it and see what we can come up, and then we can have a chat. I guess potentially tomorrow if it's a good time.
Yeah, just let me know. I'll be busy tomorrow morning, but I could be available in the afternoon, so let me know. I put Sarah's email in our chat right there, so you have it.
Oh, perfect.
I'm
Thank
free tomorrow. I can probably do it tomorrow.
Okay, I can have a chat with you tomorrow. And then, yeah, as soon as I'm hearing back from Dave and he made a decision, I will let you know. I'll reach back out to you and then we can schedule another meeting then.
Okay, terrific. Thank you.
Thank you.
You are
Christina,
so
you're
welcome.
great. We appreciate you. Have a
Yes,
great
thank
day.
You
You
too.
too.
Have a happy workout.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.